Hi, I'm Keith McAvoy, CEO of Success That Works and founder of Supercharge Academy. If you find yourself in the position where you are incredibly overworked, you are in there late at night, in there early in the morning, but yet your team seems, disengaged, or they're leaving on time, smiling and happy, the chances are very high that the problem is not with your team, who you are probably incredibly frustrated with, by their lack of accountability and the fact that they're so blasé about how busy you are. The problem is probably with you. And the problem is probably with your delegation skills. And why it's probably that you are not actually giving away the work that your team needs to be doing, moving it off your plate and onto their plate. And it's damaging your career, because as a manager, you need to be very good at getting stuff off your plate and onto your team's plate. If you're not doing that, everyone's seeing it. It's damaging your health. If you're spending time worrying and stressing and long hours in work when you shouldn't be, right? That's your sanity. And overall, that's damaging your life, right? If you're spending too much time in work, your health is a bit poor, you're frazzled at home, you're not listening to what your kids are saying, that's not great either. So here are the classic 3 mistakes that I see managers, and particularly really clever managers, making, that are preventing them being able to delegate and delegate effectively in the way that they really can and need to. So listen, and hopefully these will make sense to you, and you'll see straight away, I can learn from this and I can correct this. So the first thing I see again and again is mistake number 1, which is capability. Right? This is critical. And you see it all the time. You see where I've got a task, and what I do is I say, I'm going to delegate this. But I choose the wrong person to go and do this task. I choose someone who maybe doesn't have the experience yet, or maybe doesn't have the skills, or worse still, doesn't have the time to do it. And I somehow think that by magic, this person that I delegate to is suddenly going to be able to deliver that back to me when I need it in a few weeks' time. That ain't going to happen. Right? It ain't going to happen. You know it ain't going to happen. When you're delegating, you've got to actually look and make sure you're choosing the right person for the right job. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that the person that you're choosing is able to do that straight away without any help from you. That person could be capable with a bit of guidance or a bit of help. But you got to make sure that you're not choosing someone who, first of all, is not capable, or who you're not going to be able to give that guidance to. Because basically, you're setting them up for fail. And you're setting yourself up for fail too. You're setting yourself up for more stress in 2 weeks' time when that task doesn't get delivered the way you need it to be. So, very common mistake. The second one is not setting a very clear outcome. Okay? This is critically important. There's 2 problems really. First is not being very exact with the person you're delegating to, exactly what it is that you need. Exactly what it is that you need. So if it is a project that needs delivering, well, be very exact about it. What exactly does a good, excellent result look like? And write it down. What exactly who needs to be involved in that project? If there's a customer, who is it? Who needs to be satisfied? What are the resources that are going to be part of that project? Make sure that exactly what that outcome is and exact those resources you specify up front, so that there's no ambiguity. You know that in 2 weeks' time you're going to get back exactly what it is that you were expecting. So be very exact about it. And the second part is when you're exact, you're able to let it go. You don't have to micromanage anymore. If you can put down right up front what it is that you're expecting, then that person you delegate to can understand and go and figure it out. They'll worry about the little problems that come up, because little problems will come up. They'll figure it out. They'll work around it. They'll figure out how to do stuff that probably you didn't even know how to do. But only if they know what it is that they're tilting towards. So make sure you're very exact and very, very clear in the outcome. And the third one is calendar. Ooh, spell calendar wrong. C-A-L, calendar. Yeah. No, it's missing an N someplace, but you get the message. Your calendar is your best friend when it comes to delegating. When you're delegating, typically if there's when you need your delivery, yeah, and you're here now, you need to think strategically upon this, right? You don't want the very last second getting everything just delivered to you, because what happens if there's a problem there? If it's right at the end, it's too late for you to influence or to give advice or to change the outcome slightly because you missed something. So when you're delegating, you need to think very clearly. You're here, what has to happen? Maybe you've got a review session here. How's it getting on? Maybe a once a week meeting for 10 minutes, whatever it is, access some time. And maybe down here you have draft review. I want to see what it is that's going to be presented. I want to, you set up something so that you can check in advance that what's happening is roughly right for you. And maybe it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe you need to break your project into manageable chunks as well, so that it's very, very clear for you. But here's the thing. You need to get these dates into the calendars. It's no good saying, oh yeah, when you're roughly there with the draft, I want to see it. No, 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 no. You want to say, okay, at 11 o'clock on the 3rd of October, yeah, me and you, we're meeting here and we're going to review this, this and this. Now you can see the power already in that. So the person you're delegating to knows exactly what that interim step is, and you know as well that on the 3rd of October, after that meeting at 11, so at 11:15 or 10:30, you know that you're going to know exactly where that project is and how things are going. You're not going to get surprised at the very, very end. So again, really, really important. And if you are thinking delegation skills, if you can bring it up a notch, I've created a very handy guide. So it's basically the CEO's guide to delegation. It's all the tips and tricks that CEOs use very effectively to delegate, because essentially that is the core skill. Being able to, as you rise up through an organization, is being able to take the work that the organization needs to do and delegate it out to the various people and departments to go and make that happen effectively. And that's a really core skill for you and your career prospects as well. So I've created a simple guide. It's below this video. Do click, download it and watch it. It'll take about half an hour. And that after half an hour, you will have everything you need to go and make all of this happen and not fall foul of those little silly mistakes that clever people do. So you deserve the recognition and the rewards and an absolute wonderful life. So go ahead and grab it.